Hey there everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another video on YT News. So here are 5 of those recent situations from the year 2021. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on anything. Alright, let's get to it. Number 5. SJW gets triggered on the concept of a housewife. Humans have been following a lifestyle for centuries now, and even if people who come before dislike something in the lifestyle, they made either their own changes, and if everything was good enough, people adapted to those changes. You can call it social evolution if you want, but this is the way it has been since day one. No one before ever came forward throwing dirt on how other people live their lives and then end up doing the same thing. People might have done that, but they were tamed as hypocritical and senseless. Now that seems all fair and square to us, but this SJW with her phone thought it would be a nice idea to record herself talking about the concept of a housewife. She went into how men used to be the sole caretakers of women and how women were entirely dependent on men for their needs in the early ages. Now, despite her history lesson, I'm sure no one would have sensed anything cringy. But since she was an SJW, she had to show her true colors. As soon as she ended with the history lesson, she jumped ship and started talking about how the concept of being a housewife was a demeaning job. It kinda seemed like someone might have called her a dishwasher or something. But there was literally no point in her dissing about women who were proud to stay at home and spend their lives as full-time moms.
I just think it's really funny that misogynists always want to talk about the 1950s housewife archetype in order to insult or put women in their place, but they never want to talk about the gender norms for men in the 1950s. Housewives only existed because men were expected to be working men, which meant they got up every day at 8 a.m., put on a suit, and went off to work and didn't see their family until 5 p.m. And they had to do this because they were expected to be the sole provider for 5-person families, which was obviously more manageable in the 1950s, but bear with me. Not only that, but when it came to dating, the pursuit was 100% the man's responsibility, which meant the guy had to initiate every date, and you had to take a girl out at least 4 or 5 times before calling her your girlfriend. Definitely weren't getting laid. And then you had to get married before you were 23. All financial responsibility fell on the man.
Number 4. SJWs go on a barking spree. Now don't get me wrong, all animals should be respected to the socially appropriate extent. And with that, I must point out that I hold animals that bark in high esteem. But when SJWs get triggered and they start barking in the middle of a protest like dogs, or more like puppies since they barely have any masculinity in their voice, then I say that even barking could be termed as a comedy if a person barks right. Going in front of them and talking some sense into SJWs is nearly impossible. So my heart goes out to everyone who lived near the park where they all had gathered. But the cringiest part was when they were out of solid points and ways to make a statement, they resorted to barking while it was literally snowing. This kind of tells us way too much about their level of intellect, and I'm sure everyone would agree with me on that. Number 3. SJW loses mind over currency. I'm sure you all must have come across at least one SJW who fusses about how the government is controlling the economy and how they are deliberately making the rich richer and leaving the poor poor. This isn't the place to get into that debate, but something similar was caught on camera where an SJW ridiculously commented about how a government could just keep on printing money and how the entire concept of a currency was a sham. She talked about how currencies are social contracts. Though she is sort of right over there, she then emphasized that since a $5 bill and a $20 bill is made out of the same material, then both of them could be used interchangeably. I'm sure she needs some economic lessons before she sets her foot out of her house again, or else you can say bye-bye to the economy.
Hey, so you know what I don't fucking understand? This is what I don't understand. See this? See this? See that? This. This is worth $50? This is worth $5? This is the exact same piece of fucking plastic. This is the same thing. We made up these arbitrary numbers. And then we said, we can't print more or else it'll be worthless. How about just don't let it be worthless? How about just don't tell anybody? Or just like, don't let it happen. We literally made this up. This is a construct we made up. Just don't let it inflate. Just don't. Like, people, I get inflate, but I don't. Like, just don't let it. You let this happen. You let this happen. How about you just let everything else happen too? Why don't you just let stuff not inflate? Like, just deflate.
Number 2, SJW goes out shouting at Republicans. Who does not know about SJW's hate for Republicans? They despise them as much as it is humanly possible. But I'm sure Republicans pay no heed to their hate either. But there are instances where SJWs just lose their senses when they see Republicans. And this case is one of those instances. Over here, the guy just shouts out that he apparently wishes to slash out all the Republicans. Sadly for him, no matter how big of a tantrum he throws, the Republicans are going nowhere.
Slash his throat! Every Republican! Suck my fucking balls!
Say that one more time.
Slash my throats!
Number 1. SJW gets shut by an interviewer on feminism. Since the SJW being interviewed over here was an elderly, we could have expected her to know better. But no, that simply does not apply to the SJWs. This old woman who was protesting in favor of feminism had a badge that said "Free the Pussy," but when the interviewer asked her about the slogan being sexist, she had no reply to give at all.
Previous clip asked the same Trump supporter about the MAGA slogan. She seemed to be questioning it, but she wasn't ready for the very well-informed answer that she was about to get hit with.
Why don't you just say women's power? Why don't you say women's rights?
Why don't you make America great?
It is great.
Let's keep America great.
Well, that's another slogan that he has. Yeah, that is the 2020 slogan. Keep America great.
This brings us to the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then let us know by liking the video. Stick around for more amazing content, as we will soon be seeing you in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.